So this looks different. We're in my house today, in my playroom. Just kidding. Actually, we're turning one of our bonus rooms in the house here into a dedicated Lego building space. But I thought I'd take you guys along for the ride because the stuff we're gonna talk about today would work for any sort of flex space, whether it be a home office / game room, man cave, whatever. So we got some things we're gonna do today, like mount the TV, run the wires through the walls, build another IKEA hack system, which is kind of like the most common thing. That way we can have a place to keep all the Lego mess in one space, because apparently my family has decided over the last couple of weeks that Legos is all they want to do with all their spare time, including the wife. And really because the wife wants it now is why I'm having to do it.
Having to do it, as if you didn't build that thing back there.
Don't show them that! The ViewSonic X2 4K LED projector is the world's first projector designed for Xbox consoles. Featuring screen sizes up to 120 inches, native refresh rates up to 240 Hz, built-in Harman Kardon speakers, and low latency gaming modes, the X2 4K gaming projector from ViewSonic delivers a truly customizable experience for both gaming and HDR cinema. To see our full-length video covering features and user experiences, follow the links in the description below. Okay, so this was actually my youngest kids. We kind of kept it as a playroom for a while, had all of our toys and dollhouse and stuff in here. In fact, all the toys and stuff are still in the other room now. We have to figure out what she's keeping, what she's getting rid of and going to Goodwill and whatnot. But anyway, we are happy to foster the idea of building blocks, because that is a much better hobby to have than, you know, sitting there on computers and stuff all day long. Yeah, me saying that. I agree. Anyway, I know, right? Look, I'm touching grass. But because of the fact that we want to, like, honestly, this is the first thing I think my family, my wife, my two daughters and I all share a hobby with, which is building Legos and stuff. All mine are in the upstairs room. I build the bigger, like, Star Wars sets and the Lego Technics stuff, like the big sets. I guess some warships I'm going to be working on. Anyway, this is the little stuff my kids been working on. But I want to put a TV in here. That way we can put on, like, our favorite shows and stuff and have background noise and whatnot. So the first thing I gotta do is run some wires through the wall, because I refuse to have wire showing when it comes to hanging TVs. I've used this kit a few different times. I really like it. It's the Sanus kit from Lowe's. Lowe's and Home Depot, Ace Hardware, they're all a North American thing. Most of them carry that. And what I'm about to show you with the walls too is probably gonna vary based on where you live. Now, this is pretty nice because it doesn't have to conform to any sort of code technically, because it's technically an extension cord, and it is technically an extension cord made out of Romex that is in-wall rated. So you can't just run an extension cord through the wall. That's not in-wall rated, the installation's not correct. But you can see how it's essentially just an extension cord. But it's got this nice round, I guess they call it a wall mold, which will allow you to drill a hole, and it comes with the hole saw for it. So this is meant for drywall and potentially wood. If you have concrete walls or masonry or anything, that's gonna be a completely different product that you would need to do this. But here in North America, almost every home, at least where I live in Southern California, is foundation and wood frame. So that makes it very easy to work with. So this will drill right through the drywall, and then we can run the cable down through, have the hole in the bottom, and then it literally just plugs in like here. It literally just pops through there, and then we could have extension cord plugged into it. We'll take you along on how it works. So the first thing you gotta do is you gotta find your stud. I will spare you the stupid stud jokes, because this one's obvious. Anyway, I've already marked the studs. I've got one here, one here, one here, and then one literally right on the edge. And if you, little rule of thumb here, at least in the US, if you wanna know where to start finding your studs, look for a plug. They're all mounted to a stud. They're all side mounted to a stud. So it's gonna be on either side of the plug, one or the other. And then they're all 16 inches on center of the studs. And I've already measured this. I can get my measuring tape if you're interested. But anyway, they are 16 inches, 16 inches, and 16 inches. I didn't mark this one because I'm gonna be using these two studs to mount my TV mount. It's also important to know where I can drill a hole, because I do not want to start drilling this and be like, oops, there was a stud there. And then take one, a huge chunk out of the stud, and then two, just deal with that nonsense. So I'll be probably putting this one right in the middle or off to the side. I need to take a look at the mount that I bought. I sent Nick to pick it up at Best Buy. I need to make sure that there is an available hole somewhere in the mount as well for that. And then because of the fact that this is an interior wall, there shouldn't be any fire breaks, which means horizontal pieces of wood. And we can verify that with a stud finder. I'll go get one. Exterior walls will absolutely have what they call fire breaks or horizontal pieces of wood, and they're always kind of like staggered from each other. So let me get my stud finder and just make sure before I drill a hole that I can go all the way down without hitting a piece of wood. Now what I'm hoping is going down, I won't find a stud going down. There might actually be a stud right there, which will really sort of stink. Now technically I could go lower if there's not one down here and still mount it there and the TV will still block it. But let's see. Okay, so this is why we check, because that wouldn't have been a deal breaker. I could have taken a little vibrating edge saw, cut a square right where the stud is, taken the long wood bit, I can't remember what it's called, a reamer bit, gone at that at an angle, made a hole, pushed it through, and then put that back and patched it. I don't want to do drywall today, so we're not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hold off now until Nick gets here with the TV and stuff, because I find it hard to believe that that's actually a stud. But there it is, right there. It's right there. So it's going across right here between these two boards. That's kind of okay though, because I still think this will be high enough to be blocked by the TV, and but still low enough or out of the way behind the TV, but still allow me to be able to get my whatchamacallit down there, the other end of this plug. So I need to mark that cross stud now, or that fire break. Why there's one on that wall, I'm not entirely sure. More than likely it could be those are actually king studs. So king studs are studs that are load bearing. And that means there's two 2x4s side by side rather than one, like a normal interior wall. This is a 2-story home, so it's got a lot of load bearing weight above it. So a king stud is 2 side by side, and then they have a cross brace between them to add more stability and strength. I'm assuming that's a king stud. We're just gonna send it. There's no stud going across up there. That's okay. It's still gonna be covered. But it was better safe than sorry. Here, let me get my little probe. There is literally no stud up in there at all.
That's
no, it's hard to see, right? So there's the hole. You can see the seam for the drywall. You can see
that's what it was picking up.
Maybe, because it might have been picking up the tape, because you can see the stud right there. This one right here. You can see it right there, all the way to the ground. You can see the Romex going across to you right there. I still am curious as to what it was picking up though, because the stud scan was pretty adamant that there was a stud there. You guys saw it. So that's the risk you take sometimes, where it's not always the most accurate device. Why did I get such a long camera? I'll get it. We'll be back.
This is called foreplay.
When they're like diesel engines, you gotta warm them up, but once you do, you can run them hard. So the way this thing locks in is it's got these little wings that pop out when you tighten it. So you tighten it, it pulls them in, and then they lock out like such behind the drywall. And you don't want to do this with like a power drill. Do this one by hand so you can feel when it gets too tight. Otherwise you'll snap it right off. And then you'll be fishing this out and getting a new one and starting over. If I want to test to make sure this is working, and there's no reason at all that it shouldn't be, I can do this and that, and then there we go. So we're good. All right, now I got the mountain stuff here, so I can mount the mount right above it. The TV's here, so I can mount that TV, push this back in, and then start building the furniture because all the IKEA stuff showed up. It is a swivel articulating arm, and it lines up perfectly with my studs. As you can see, I don't know if you can see this pencil marks on top of it, and you can see where the cord is that I did there. I could have potentially tried to make it in the middle, but look, that wouldn't have fit. So I'm glad I didn't try to do that, because that little cover is too thick for it. But I don't have to hold this up to it, because it does come with a template. So I can tape this up there where I want it to go. I can cut it out if I want, tape it up there. And then, to be honest, I'm probably not gonna even do that. I know one hole has to go there. So I'm gonna drill one hole, get the lag bolt, drill it in there, put my level on there, hold it up here, drill the other hole, and then do the bottom. So either I'm drilling into wood and you're using lag bolts for it, always drill a hole first, because these are not meant to self-tap into wood. They'll split the crap out of the wood. So always drill a hole first. Okay. So a little word of advice when it comes to mounting these, don't crank it down on the wall real hard for a couple of reasons. One, you can split the wood. Two, you can crush the drywall down. And three, there's no reason to, because the tighter you make it, the more unnecessarily tight you make it. Also too, you almost guarantee the fact that you're gonna have the paint come off with it. It's probably gonna happen no matter what. I mean, we use pretty good paint in here, but it's still very possible that the paint will come off with it, because underneath the good paint that we put on here was the builder grade paint. So there's that. But I tend to, in the past, have a habit of over tightening these things, and it's just completely unnecessary. But there you go, perfectly level. And it's like that scene from The Office. And if you need more room when you have friends over, now I need to get the TV out, get the mount put on, put the TV on, and then I've got to figure out so the soundbar I got comes with its own wall mounting brackets. I also got a universal bracket, which I don't know if I'll use. I got it just in case. It was only like 20 bucks at Lowe's, but we're looking pretty good here. Can't see what I'm doing. What could go wrong? Nailed it. Okay, so it's gonna go up on the right side. Okay, so these are the mounts for the soundbar, that thing. So because these are not lining up with the studs, I have to use anchors to make this fit so it doesn't pull the screws out. So it's always important to use anchors and stuff when only going into drywall. There we go. Then I actually need a slightly bigger drill bit for that. So you take a drill bit that's the right size for your anchor, pop your anchor in there. This particular type of anchor too, as the screw goes in, it pulls it tighter and it expands that butterfly there, so it gets tight inside the hole. There's a couple of different types of anchors too, shut up, Phil. There's a couple of different types of drywall anchors too that are threaded, where it self-taps into the drywall, threads itself in, and then the screw will go into that. I didn't need anything like that because we're not dealing with a lot of weight, so. There we go. So same thing over here. There, we did it. Yeah! It's right here in the middle. Yeah. So a little bit of an OCD thing. I think I already said this middle piece can't go back flush like the rest of the cabinets are, because of the fact that there's the cables and stuff back there. But I also too, I forgot about the connection between the soundbar and the TV. So now I gotta get one of those little conduits that stick to the wall that I can paint to match the wall to hide the optical cable and the power cable for the for the soundbar. So there's that, and then the subwoofer will fit in this corner right over here. I wanna point out, look at this big old gash in my subwoofer. This is the way it came out of the package, brand new. Good job, LG. Okay, I gotta clean up this mess. Nick's been putting together the chairs, and he started doing the drawers. I put together the other drawers, and then it is 12:30. Holy crap, it's time to stuff our faces. It's done-ish, mostly. You can see why we made the room now, right? Because look, I'm telling you right now, this family is a Lego family, like very newly discovered Lego family. Look, I built Legos growing up a ton. My kids have always had Legos. My wife just discovered Legos, but like I said, once the wife discovered Legos, then this became okay. So anyway, so these are the ones I still have to build. So this is the F1 car I recently did. I've got a NASCAR one upstairs too I didn't bring down yet. This is my first gen Camaro. You can see I've got the mid-size AT-AT, but I didn't get the big one. That's like 800 bucks. I don't want to spend that much on a set yet, but that's the big one. Anyway, I still have the Tantive, what is it, Tantive 4. So those are two sets I still have to do. A few of my wife's over here, so she's super into the Disney stuff. So I got her the old camcorder. She's got this one. Hey, that's a VHS tape for those of you that don't know. My audience knows, they're old like me. And then this is like her Halo set right here. This is the big old giant, the Disney castle for the 100th anniversary, which is gonna be retired here soon. So It's the Disneyland one. It's Sleeping Beauty's castle. That's why it's pink. Don't ask me why I know these things, because I've got a ton of kids. Anyway, well, only 2. This is my oldest daughter's. This is little Jay's. She has so many that she's built already that's not even funny. She's super into Batman, so she's been collecting every one of the Batman ones. So I recently got her the tumbler. This is like the big set. It's only 2,049 pieces, but it's like the big one that's got like all the motion parts and stuff. Kind of got working windshield wipers and stuff, so she's like super excited for this. And then got some small sets and stuff. So let's talk about some of the accessories I put in here. Like I said, who's that handsome guy right there? That guy's super handsome. Anyway, this is just a 55-inch LG. It's good enough though. It sounds better than the onboard speakers. Obviously, it's wall mounted. You can see I went ahead and did the conduit here because I was not gonna be able to stand that for any longer than 3 seconds. So that looks a million times better. Subwoofers are hidden over there in the corner. This doubles as another little build area. For instance, if one of us is working on a big set that's sprawled out over here and other people are over there, then my youngest daughter will just pull up a chair over here and build on this area, which she's already done a few times, but probably not too much of an issue. Oh yeah, here's my Luke's land speeder right here, the X34. So this was a fun one to build. But let's talk about some of the stuff that you guys could use for your setups. Because like I said, sure, this is being built for Legos. The only thing that makes this difference between a Lego build room and a computer room is what's on the desk. Okay, so I used the very standard IKEA hack. I don't remember who the first person to do the hack was. I know Random Frank P was doing it before me. I know TechSource was doing it before me, but it doesn't matter. The furniture legs on top, screwed down, gives some more space to the desk, makes the desk look like it's floating. You can see I've added the center drawer right there, because I think my wife and I will be spending most of our time over here, and the kids will be utilizing this one. There's some more lamps I want to get, but speaking of lamps, I got this on Amazon. It's really cool. So you can change the color. It's just it's a white gooseneck light, LED light. So it's really nice that you can move it around. And then it's just a touch sensor on the side, but you can change the temperature of the lighting. So I kind of like the 5,000. So this would be like 6,500. That's like 4,000 or 4,200 around there, and then 5,000. So I like 5,000 the most. This comes in really handy for building Legos, which is really nice. I did this as well. This is a clamp-on power strip for the desk, which gives us 5 of the standard 120 volt grounded plugs, 2 USB-A, 4 USB-C. The reason I put those there is, one, I don't like using the paper manuals. I like to use the digital PDFs that you can download from the Lego websites. Unfortunately, that's only if the set is still on the website like repository. Now, not all of them are there, like really old sets. If you buy on eBay or something as like a retro set, you're not gonna probably find those PDFs, so you have to use the pages. But I'm gonna have either my iPad or my laptop on here a lot of the time when I'm building, just so that I can have something that's more easy to follow, zoom in. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell, or the pages give a lot of glare. So with this downlight, there could be a lot of glare. Might be worth getting on here too, one of those like book holders, like a cookbook holder, but it could also hold the manual up when you're building. That'd be nice. Super inexpensive, but because the kids like to have their devices plugged in and listening to music and stuff too, they can have them charging right here. So this was also pretty inexpensive. I'll put both of these links in the description below for Amazon. Again, I am an affiliate, so anything that you guys buy from Amazon does support the channel. Doesn't have to be these 2 products. You'd be surprised what you guys buy. We get to see what you buy. We don't get to see who bought it, but we do get to see what you guys buy. But I had the lac shelves put up here too, which are nice floating shelves. These lamps that I use were a compromise. I initially was gonna get the stick-on battery-powered underlights like you would use under cabinets or in closets or whatever. The problem is they only have about a 6-hour life if they're being used constantly. So I don't have to be unplugging them all the time or unattaching them and plugging them in and charging. That'd be annoying. So I found these lights, which are just amazing, I think, for workspaces like this. The nice thing about it is the gooseneck goes up high enough so you can definitely make it reach over the top of monitors, and you can put it behind your monitor. And I think also too, it would make a decent, live stream light. It's a little harsh. You can't control the brightness. It's one complaint I have about it. There's no brightness control. But I think in terms of using it as a workspace like this, it's the perfect kind of light. The corner, we're probably gonna put a tree and maybe a little stand lamp or something there for some soft lighting. These lights in the ceiling are dimmable. But anyway, that's pretty much it. So, and then one of the IKEA drawers came super damaged. So Nick ran to IKEA and got us a replacement side panel. Phil can go over there and show you. The side is all like cracked, broken. So this is the replacement piece for that. I didn't put that on yet because I don't want to take that apart right at this moment. And you can't see it at the moment, so I'm fine with it the way it is for now. The chairs, they're just a gray and white version of the chairs that we're already using at the studio. A little dirty here already from just the packaging, so I gotta wipe that down. They've held up really well. I'm a big guy. And you guys know I put on some weight, so I'm a true test to chairs, if you will. These have held up very, very well. When we got them initially for the studio, for our podcast sets, that's where we ended up with these first. When we had that podcast set, not in the office, but the one that was out in the warehouse area for our first RTFM iteration, I thought for sure these were gonna like squeak and break and rattle and make all kinds of noise after no time at all, but they have been very, very solid. I think they're like 250 bucks though. They're not super cheap. Again, IKEA. I'll try to put links to everything we use down below, but it should give you guys some good ideas on how to do these sort of flex spaces. Oh, one thing I want to point out too, the center cabinet, I did not put the legs on there yet because the problem I think with IKEA is all of these countertops that we're using, these are meant to be like kitchen countertops, which are screwed down from the bottom, pulled down to the top of the cabinet. The problem is they're bowed. Instead of like concave or saggy, they're bowed. I think that way when they're tightened down, they naturally want to be flat rather than curling up on the ends or anything. So I had weight sitting up on this one all night long because this one was really bowed, like really bad. But it's gotten better. Over time, they'll sag some. If they start to, then I'll put the legs on the middle one because I want it to not be supported where it's at. I want it to sag and then get it to where I want it with support in the middle. So I gotta give that some time. Anyway, there you go. Now this is much better use of this particular room. We've been in this house 5 years and this room's kind of been like a, what do we do with this room sort of room? And rather than just letting it be a room where the kid can trash it, and it's the first thing you see when you walk in with toys everywhere, now you can just look in here and be like, wow, so you're one of those Lego families, huh?